Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent based on novel. So let's start. The 12th to 14th levels of the Abyss of Destruction are Mo Man, Jin, and Ming Huang. After all, they are all part of the cultivator camp and naturally cooperate well. From now on, you need to be careful. From the 15th level onward, you might have to battle continuously, Mo Man said. Luo Feng nodded, I know. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with fierce battle intent. The further he goes, the more terrifying the opponents will become. For Luo Feng, who loves combat, since becoming a lord, a thrilling battle has become quite precious. I will cherish every opponent. Luo Feng's eyes burned with intensity. Whoosh! Luo Feng directly crossed through space and time, entering a deeper layer of the Abyss of Destruction. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The 15th level of the Abyss of Destruction is enveloped in endless darkness, occupied by the silent extinction ancestor, one of the top 3 in the innate primordial camp. Luo Feng. A massive dark light coalesced and appeared, with a figure faintly resembling both a human and a bird within the dark light. Silent extinction ancestor. Luo Feng also looked at the other party. I've observed you traversing the Abyss of Destruction. You don't seek detailed exploration, but want to be besieged by the world envoys of each level. Silent extinction ancestor spoke. Exploration. Luo Feng cared most about the power of destruction on each level. As for exploration, Luo Feng knew well that the greater opportunities lay further down, so there was no need to spend effort exploring the shallower destruction worlds. Silent extinction ancestor, can you have all the world envoys besiege me? Luo Feng asked. My true body is not here. Silent extinction ancestor's voice resonated throughout the world, but you, a cultivator lord, expect me to help you. What a joke. Luo Feng nodded with a smile, then I can only take forceful action to make you cooperate. Give it a try. Silent extinction ancestor was quite confident, even if my true body is not here, you can't do anything to me. Oh? Luo Feng extended his hand, and the sky-splitting saber appeared in his grip. Although he had traversed through many layers of destruction world, during confrontations with the world envoys, he acquired 6 destruction weapons, but none had anything special beyond the level of the sky-splitting saber. Humph! Silent extinction ancestor initiated a thought, and instantly 260 violet avian appeared. Each violet avian was covered head to toe with dense violet scales, their surface adorned with innumerable secret patterns, each violet avian resembling a weapon, borrowing part of the highest level power of destruction, imposing a terrifying force. At the same time, silent extinction ancestor split into forms, descending dark light on each avian. Generally, ancestors enhance themselves with the power of destruction world or condense it into a group of world envoys. However, silent extinction ancestor, whose true body is absent, used his strength to enhance the world envoys. Silent extinction ancestor excelled in the dark power and power of death, these 2 highest level powers, whose combined force is called power of annihilation. This power could target both physical bodies and souls, posing a grave threat. Although not reaching the undying and immortal state, he still ranks among the top 3 in the innate primordial camp, reflecting the extraordinary nature of his strength. Kill. World envoys avian, each wielded the power of annihilation, fearlessly besieged Luo Feng. These accumulative world envoys themselves had about 80 to 90% of silent extinction ancestors' strength. Now, enhanced with the power of annihilation, they were slightly stronger than silent extinction ancestors' complete true body. Buzz buzz. 2 avian directly tore through the air with their claws, grasping onto the surface of Luo Feng's blood-red robe, creating ripples. Luo Feng felt the damage of these attacks, casually counterattacking, with blade light slicing through like threads around, effortlessly cutting dozens of violet avian. This made Silent Extinction Ancestor, whose force imprinted on the avian, change color. With my enhancement, these world envoys are still so fragile before him. Silent Extinction Ancestor couldn't believe it. Buzz buzz buzz. Luo Feng did not exert full strength. While feeling the mysterious aspects of the attacking power of destruction, he casually tried targeting with his saber, leading to the downfall of numerous avian. With my enhancement, these world envoys now slightly surpass my true body, yet in front of Luo Feng, they have no resistance at all. Silent Extinction Ancestor felt a bit apprehensive. The blade light seemed subtle, but it was indeed unbreakable. All things could be cut. Upon touch, it would cut in half. Luo Feng frowned at the scattered flight of more than 10 violet avian, saying, Silent Extinction Ancestor, could you arrange for all the world envoys to besiege me with full effort? I need them to last 1 or 2 eras. If you are unwilling to cooperate, then I can only take control of this level of destruction world. He didn't care for control over this level of the world. I can't stop you. I shall cooperate, Silent Extinction Ancestor said. At this moment, Silent Extinction Ancestor felt that this cultivator Lord Luo Feng was quite good-natured. Having enough power, but not taking control of this level's destruction world. He relinquished his enhancement on the world envoy's power, and with a thought, commanded the world envoys to besiege at full force. Also, each time a world envoy dies, power will again condense new world envoys to attack unceasingly. Luo Feng was immersed in cultivation, paying no heed to Silent Extinction Ancestor. This Luo Feng doesn't even look up to me. Silent Extinction Ancestor had mixed feelings. Despite being one of the top 3 in the innate primordial camp, the number of layers he occupied in the abyss of destruction deeper than him were all recognized among the top 10. What? Silent Extinction Ancestor was easily defeated in front of Lord Luo Feng. Even if it's not the true body, with the world envoys united, they shouldn't be so fragile. The scene of Luo Feng's battle with Silent Extinction Ancestor was observed by quite a few powerful beings. The cultivator lords, along with ancestors like Liu Yu Ancestor, Wu Ji Yu Ancestor, and others, since it was already the 15th level of the abyss, this deep-level confrontation between two powerful beings naturally attracted attention. Lord Luo Feng's strength is even stronger than during the two factions' war. Silent Extinction Ancestor isn't his true body. The exerted power is limited. From the 16th level onward, it'll be completely different. From the 16th level onward, the occupants are all ranked among the top 10 existences, and each possesses a true body. The true body cooperates with world envoys unless the strength gap is huge or complete suppression. Otherwise, one cannot win. Many ancestors watched with anticipation, eager for the upcoming stronger conflicts. The 7 lords of the cultivator camp also noticed the strengthening of their comrade Luo Feng. Luo Feng, have you comprehended the second primordial path? Yuan transmitted eagerly. Not yet. I've just figured out a form of power of destruction, Luo Feng replied. Yuan still felt delighted. With 2 different highest level powers, well coordinated, they can exhibit very strong potency. Luo Feng wielded 1 primordial level Dao combined with 1 power of destruction. His foundation was vastly formidable. Moreover, Luo Feng's strength of 1 life and 1 destruction, the combination was intensely suited for combat. More and more were noticing Luo Feng. Luo Feng. On the 16th level of the Abyss of Destruction, the current occupant here was Fu Xiao. Fu Xiao wore white battle armor, his gaze piercing through space-time to observe Luo Feng on the 15th level, with unprecedented fervor. Fu Xiao, solitary and famed as the most belligerent in the endless primordial space, views combat as the greatest pleasure of his prolonged existence. A thrilling battle was what Kushio dreamed of. Luo Feng, my 16th level won't be easy to breach. Kushio already anticipated the forthcoming battle. When Luo Feng headed to the 16th layer of the Abyss of Destruction, more than 30 ancient beings from the entire endless primordial space looked over, including the infinite snake ancestor and the ice peak ancestor, all giving this battle immense attention. Although I'm slightly stronger than Kufu, once he teams up with the world envoy, I will also be at a disadvantage. The ice peak ancestor's eyes were cold. As one of the few with the highest status in the entire infinite primordial space, his strength was among the top ranks, and with Shoju supporting him wholeheartedly, his power was self-evident. Yet the cultivator camp, which once relied on him, was growing stronger, and naturally, the Ice Peak ancestor was not pleased with this. This battle will also reveal Luo Feng's true strength. The Ice Peak ancestor watched indifferently. Kufu's strength is recognized as powerful. Previously, he occupied the 18th layer. After the breakthrough of the infinite ancestor, he failed to contest the 17th layer. The Feather Emperor and numerous world envoys joined forces to suppress the infinite ancestor. In terms of frontal combat strength, the infinite ancestor slightly surpasses Kufu, but is still no match for Kufu, and the world envoy teamed up. At that time, the infinite ancestor relied on his ubiquitous advantage to hold Kufu at bay and was the first to grasp the shadow of origin. The strength of Kufu and the world envoy, when combined, can rival the demon ruins. The infinite snake ancestor gazed from afar, enough to clearly witness Luo Feng's strength. If a third strongest must be selected in the endless primordial space, it would be the demon ruins. If initial represents the ultimate of the defense Tao, the demon ruins represents the ultimate of destruction. It is only due to the weaker movement technique and clumsy techniques that it is notably weaker than Starlight and Shoju. I broke through. Did Luo Feng also break through? The infinite ancestor also watched. Because of Luo Feng's battle, it was inspired and managed to reach the undying and undying realm, establishing an immortal bond, making the infinite ancestor view Luo Feng in a different light. Of course, being from opposing camps, it did not harbor much gratitude. Rather, in its eyes among the over 200 ancestor and lord-level beings in the endless primordial space, Luo Feng was a very special one. I grow stronger, Luo Feng grows stronger. Indeed, this cultivator camp is the biggest rival to our innate primordial camp. The cultivator camp has grown stronger. The grey-clad woman Shoju, ranking the 27th layer, and also the being that delved deepest into the abyss of destruction in the endless primordial space, in the near future, it might completely surpass the Ice Peak camp. The innate primordial camp possesses nearly half of the ancestor-level beings, and there are continually new ancestors being born. The cultivator camp has countless source worlds as their foundation, and is also birthing one lord after another. Every lord is a master of the primordial Tao, immensely powerful individuals who, when cooperating, are even more terrifying. Both camps have continued to grow stronger, causing the Ice Peak camp to fall behind gradually. Luo Feng could sense over 30 pairs of eyes focused on him, and he could even trace back to determine the origin of each gaze. The encounter with Kufu indeed draws significant attention. Luo Feng mused silently. Never before had so many strong beings watched a confrontation. Finally breaking through layers of temporal and spatial barriers, entering the deeper 16th layer. The 16th layer of the destruction world was filled with innumerable dark green gigantic plants, growing immensely lushly across the world, everywhere. A figure stood atop the crown of the tallest tree. It was Kufu. Kufu was dressed in white battle armor, his eyes fervently watching Luo Feng. Lord Luo Feng, come battle me. Kufu's voice was mighty, resonating throughout this layer of the destruction world. As long as I enjoy the battle, even if you lose, I'll arrange a world envoy to assist in your cultivation. But if you're too weak, I'll simply expel you. Luo Feng looked at Kafu. Their eyes met from afar, understanding each other's resolve. I enjoy the passion of battle, but this Kafu was born for combat. Luo Feng could feel this, his heart had family, a tribe. But Kafu's heart held only battle. Hope you won't be like the infinite ancestor, just restraining me and evading me, that's utterly dull. Kafu stared at Luo Feng, clash with me face to face. As long as you can take the upper hand, this layer of the destruction world is yours. Rest assured, I will face you head on. Luo Feng nodded, while speaking, he reached out, the sky-splitting saber appeared in his hand. Ha ha ha. Accompanied by resounding laughter throughout the destruction world, Kafu's figure moved. Immediately, an enormous hand covering half the sky loomed over, as if an immense mountain was crashing down, causing this layer of the destruction world to begin twisting. Boom! Luo Feng stood there, casually waving his saber. The blade light was like a long whip, drawing an arc across the sky. Even the destruction world had split open, and this blade light struck the huge hand. The huge hand split directly, countless blood flowed down, like a lake. The vast blood poured down enveloping Luo Feng, the blood like snakes, layer upon layer binding Luo Feng. Break! Luo Feng remained motionless. From his center, countless blade lights erupted from his body, sweeping outwardly in all directions, severing and annihilating the encroaching blood and hand. All of this blood and the energy formed by the severed hand flew back, merging into Kafu's body in the distance. Able to hurt my body, Luo Feng, your blade is indeed formidable. Kafu stood there. The white battle armor on his body began to spread, extending onto his hands, spreading onto his head, enveloping his entire body, with white glinting in his eyes. Kafu's figure moved, approaching Luo Feng, commencing close combat. Every finger held the power to destroy heaven and earth, the force terrifyingly strong, incomparably sharp, with immense destructive power. Even Jin Lord was oppressed in direct combat with him. Kafu's combat skills had almost reached the primordial level Dao. His body itself served as a weapon everywhere. Clang clang clang. Luo Feng wielded the sky-splitting saber. With the primordial blade path taking form, his blade technique became comprehensive, complemented by the endless sharpness brought by the power of breaking. Luo Feng didn't immediately use endless energy to overwhelm his opponent. Instead, he aimed to hone his blade technique. The sky-splitting saber collided numerous times with Kafu's body, striking the white battle armor. The impact was weakened by the armor, leaving Kafu's body seemingly undamaged. Compared to Kafu's combat skills, my blade technique is still too immature. The manipulation of 10,008 million units of origin power is still too raw, not fully unleashing my potential. Facing Kafu, the most combative in the endless primordial space, Luo Feng quickly realized many imperfections in the nascent primordial blade path. He controlled the energy burst so that each blade technique was slightly more powerful than the opponent's, yet Kafu could compensate with combat skills. On the surface, the two seemed evenly matched. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Kafu fought with great excitement, laughing wildly during the battle. Despite trying every means and exerting full strength, the evenly matched duel was exhilarating. If the battle were one-sided, even if Luo Feng crushed Kafu, Kafu might gain something, but wouldn't feel the same passion in battle. It has to be an evenly matched, head-on confrontation for it to be enjoyable. No matter who wins or loses this battle, I can offer you this layer of destruction world, Kafu laughed heartily. Luo Feng, from now on, you are my friend. Friend Luo Feng, let's have a good fight. Kafu relished the battle. It had been too long since he experienced such a thrilling battle. Kafu, from now on, you are my friend too. Luo Feng also benefited greatly from this battle. The combat skills requirement of the primordial blade path was extremely high, and in terms of combat skills, Kafu was unparalleled. During the clash, Luo Feng continuously absorbed insights, gradually perfecting the primordial blade path. Although the energy burst level didn't increase in battle, Luo Feng began to gain the upper hand. The destructive power of his blade was on the rise. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. They fought from the sky down to the depths of the trees, and then into the ground, engaging in different environments. They enjoyed the battle. Good, good, good. Kafu fought with extreme enjoyment. The opponent's strength was slowly rising, increasing the pressure on him, forcing Kafu to tap into his combat potential. The integration of the two highest level powers he mastered occasionally produced a brilliant technique. Under pressure, each new technique mastered brought immense joy to Kafu. This continuous stream of joy made the battle extremely enjoyable for him, as he hadn't encountered such a fitting opponent in a long time. He once thought that Jin, who mastered the primordial destruction path, was a suitable opponent, but Jin turned out to be one who resorted to all means for victory, even ambushing Kafu while competing with other opponents for opportunities. Kafu looked down on those who ambushed. He preferred honorable battles. As for winning or losing, Kafu didn't care. He enjoyed the process of the battle. Even if he lost, he would laugh heartily. As for underhanded tactics or ambushes, Kafu despised them. In his view, being undying and undying meant there was no need to care about victory or defeat. One should enjoy the passion of battle. This battle lasted more than one era. It was no longer an ordinary battle, but a form of cultivation between Luo Feng and Kafu, both relishing the various gains from the fight. In direct confrontation, Luo Feng fully suppressed Kafu. His strength is now comparable to the Ice Mountain ancestor, an infinite snake ancestor. More and more ancient beings watched the battle. These ancient entities could multitask millions of tasks, splitting a single thought to watch long term. They gathered extensive information from the battle to assess the strength of Luo Feng and Kafu. Brother Luo Feng, I know your strength is far beyond this. No need to hold back for me, Kafu laughed heartily. Go all out, let me truly experience your strength. Kafu, with his exceptional combat skills, deduced from their exchanges that Luo Feng was restraining his strength. All right. I will use my newly realized ultimate move to end this battle. Luo Feng also had a great liking for Kafu. This more than an era of time significantly helped in perfecting his primordial blade path. Come on, Kafu anticipated. Luo Feng swung his blade. The first blade, the blade light was dim, seemingly like an endless, heavy earth crushing down. The blade light made the hearts of the many ancient watchers tremble, as it contained 1/10 of Luo Feng's energy reserve. Just as this blade touched Kafu's body, the second blade was already unleashed. The second blade, the blade light was dazzling and resplendent, as if the brightest light appeared in the world. It carried the elegance of Luo Feng's original origin Great Destruction, but this dazzling light was more concentrated, merging the mysteries of life and the power of breaking, landing on Kafu just after the first blade. The third blade, this blade was already majestic. Like a river of destruction obliterating all obstacles. These 3 blades, each containing 1/10 of Luo Feng's energy reserve. The combination of 3 blades formed the ultimate killer move of Luo Feng's current perfect technique. Kafu let him unleash his full potential. To thank this friend, he fully displayed his newly realized ultimate killer move. Kafu's palms were like mountains, blocking the first strike. The momentum of the first strike was too terrifying, crushing his palms and slashing across his entire body. The might was so overwhelmingly heavy, and although it was weakened by the battle armor, still 70 to 80% of the force spread throughout his entire body, causing the powerful body of Kafu to tremble, as countless cracks appeared. Kafu couldn't help but let out a low hum, with eyes becoming more fervent. At the same time, the second strike arrived. The dazzling second strike was completely different in style from the first. This strike carried the force of all things can be cut, penetrating the battle armor, and slicing into Kafu's body. In an instant, Kafu's body was cut into dozens of pieces, as if shattered porcelain pieced together. Wonderful! Even while fragmented into dozens of pieces, Kafu praised with surprise. Boom! The third strike followed. The third strike surged like a river, continuous and unending. After being weakened by the battle armor and transmitted into Kafu's body, it also stirred the forces of the first two strikes that were entrenched inside Kafu. The third strike triggered the power of the first two strikes, and all the power completely erupted in an instant. Bam! Kafu's powerful physical body exploded into a vast blood mist. However, the massive blood mist quickly condensed within the white battle armor, coalescing back into Kafu's form. Yet at this moment, Kafu's body energy reserve was depleted to only 20%. But he was continuously absorbing the power of destruction from the destruction world, and his energy reserve was rapidly climbing. 3 strikes, deplete 80% of my body's energy. Kafu laughed heartily. Across the endless primordial space, only Shoju could achieve this before. Shoju and Starlight are acknowledged as the two most powerful entities, yet the two have entirely different styles. Starlight excels at manipulating time and space, can observe the past and future, and calculates every possibility, mastering prolonged battles, hunting down every ounce of the enemy's power. Shoju represents destruction. Destruction. And destruction again. The lethal techniques she comprehended from the mysterious land Tong Valley have made many ancient beings fear her. Despite demon ruins having extremity in destructive power, its techniques are too cumbersome, needing close proximity, and the tip of a bizarre cube, to unleash the unbelievable destructive force. Ancestors and lords, unless they are foolish, can easily evade it. But some of Shoju's destructive techniques are unavoidable. This is why Shoju is on the 27th level, while Demon Ruins is on the 22nd level. 3 strikes, capable of depleting 80% of Kafu's body. If hacked at me, wouldn't I be finished? Cannot take it head on, absolutely cannot take it head on. Judging by battling Kafu for more than one epoch, Luo Feng's strikes are hard to dodge. How is Lord Luo Feng's power this formidable? The ancient beings, their eyes piercing through space-time barriers, witnessed this battle. But this battle made them feel dread. Over 90% of ancient beings are judged. Faced with Luo Feng, one can only flee. Absolutely must not engage in face-to-face combat. Engage head-on. Kafu is the example. Kafu has top 10 level power and battle armor, his physical body also considered formidable. Yet, 3 strikes resulted like this. I've heard that the hardest path to becoming a lord from the cultivator camp is break laws with force. The infinite snake ancestor, coiled with a body occupying most of the destruction world, gazed at Luo Feng. As the chief of the innate primordial camp, naturally gathering boundless information on the cultivator camp, the few paths for cultivators to breaking out of the cage are no secrets, easily known by the infinite snake ancestor. Starlight breaks laws with force, and Luo Feng does the same. Starlight's power matches Shoju. Moreover, can observe past and future, nearly observing every possible future. Facing him, I am already quite troubled. Luo Feng has newly become a lord, yet he is already on par with Starlight and Shoju. The infinite snake ancestor, naturally with detailed evaluation criteria for other ancestors and lords, after witnessing this battle, has already determined. Luo Feng, Starlight, Shoju, are at the same level. Representing the pinnacle battle strength of the entire infinite primordial space. I may be capable of suppressing Kafu, but no matter how long the combat is, I cannot destroy 80% of his body. The infinite snake ancestor sighed internally. This is an entirely transcendent destructive power. The leader of another great camp, the Ice Peak camp, also meticulously watched this battle, remembering every exchange between Luo Feng and Ka-Fu clearly, even analyzing countless times. This Luo Feng, his destructive force is stronger than mine. The Ice Peak ancestor admitted internally. If the difference were minor, there might be some refusal to concede. Yet the disparity was too evident. There's no point in comparison anymore. He ranks equally as Sister Shoju. The Ice Peak ancestor's eyes showed unwillingness. His influence and prestige mainly derived from Shoju. Shoju steadfastly supported him, advancing and retreating together. His command in the Ice Peak camp far surpassed the influence of the infinite snake ancestor in the innate primordial camp. Know that within the innate primordial camp, there are the 9 emperors, nominally equal. The infinite snake ancestor needs to ally with many ancestors to have such influence. Even so, the factions of the giant god emperor still pay little heed to the infinite snake ancestor. But in the Ice Peak camp, the entire camp is named after Ice Peak. Nominally, he is the absolute leader. In fact, besides the Pu Cheng ancestor, all other ancestors in the camp dare not truly oppose the Ice Peak ancestor. I really look forward to confronting Luo Feng. An unusual cube was extremely excited at this moment, as he loved all adventures and the thrill of facing powerful opponents. The destructive power is comparable to mine. The woman in grey stood on the deepest 27th level, a fighting spirit arising in her eyes. In the vast endless primordial space, there were very few who could tempt her to make a move. She had fought against starlight before, yet couldn't even touch it, making such battles meaningless. Shoju preferred this, the extreme destructive power of both sides clashing. She was eager to see who would ultimately be stronger. Brother Luo Feng, do you need this level of destruction world? Ka-Fu asked eagerly. For him, a thrilling battle was far more valuable than just one layer of a destruction world. No need. Luo Feng shook his head. Ka-Fu, have the world envoys attack me with all their might. Occupy a destruction world. From the 23rd to the 25th level, they were unclaimed. Taking over a layer wasn't difficult. It was possible that he might push further into the 28th and 29th levels. Naturally, he wouldn't require the layer offered by Ka-Fu. All right. Ka-Fu nodded, and with a thought, he commanded 230 world envoys to attack together. These world envoys resembled plant life, with a multitude of branches like arms. This power of destruction. Luo Feng stood there, beginning to feel the attacks from the world envoys on his body, revealing a joyful expression, could be called the power of life severing, composed of 7 parts destruction, and 3 parts life. This layer's power of destruction greatly benefited him. It was the second type of power of destruction he had encountered, where life and destruction fused, while adventuring in the abyss of destruction. Luo Feng was immersed in cultivation, yet his battle with Ka-Fu stirred massive waves in the endless primordial space, affecting more and more factions. The innate primordial camp occupied more than half of the endless primordial space's territory. Many regions had no source world, yet still many low-level primordial life and high-level primordial life thrived and reproduced, for devouring the source world origin bore a threshold, requiring at least a world-level primordial life. The growing low-level primordial life and high-level primordial life required fewer resources to develop. In such a remote region, one of them was under the command of the Water Foolish Ancestor. Water Foolish Ancestor sheltered his own tribe, along with numerous weaker tribes who also were under his protection. He didn't wish to join any conflict. However, his strength, even at the ancestor level, was too weak, making it necessary to align with a powerful camp for the survival of the tribe. Thus, he allied with the innate primordial camp, and selected the relatively peace-loving giant god emperor faction. Not every ancestor loves war. They join a major camp solely for better survival opportunities for their tribe. If one roams freely with no ties, an ancestor can live lavishly, residing anywhere or concealing their life core in hard-to-find places. However, for large tribe responsibilities, one has to be either strong enough to defy any other force, or join a great power for their protection. By joining the innate primordial camp, Water Foolish Ancestor enabled his entire tribe to reproduce peacefully. No one dared to threaten an ancestor of the innate primordial camp recklessly, as that'd mean challenging the whole camp. Indeed, he was a staunch supporter of the giant god emperor faction, receiving its protection. But of course, when a critical moment arrived, previous engagements of his faction required his participation. It's truly terrifying, even more so than the previous wars between the two major camps. Water Foolish Ancestor gazed into the abyss of destruction, having witnessed the battle between Luo Feng and Kafu. The abyss of destruction was where the strongest entities of the endless primordial space resided. Water Foolish Ancestor feared that he couldn't step into even the first level without being blasted out by Bawei Yu. Although Bawei Yu maintained a low profile in front of Luo Feng, he was ultimately ranked among the top 30 beings, and someone like Water Foolish Ancestor, an ordinary ancestor, stood little chance in his presence. To face one of the top 10 like Kafu, a figure I can only look up to, and have most of his body destroyed in just 3 strikes. Water Foolish Ancestor marveled, this Lord Luo Feng is probably at the very pinnacle within the endless primordial space. Facing such an existence, I must flee immediately, unable to withstand directly. The weaker the frontal combat strength of an ancestor, typically the stronger they are at self-preservation. After all, they possess at least one highest level power. In their area of expertise, their brilliance shines. There were too many watching ancestors, even if a few hadn't seen it firsthand. They were quickly given combat footage from their friends, allowing them to clearly witness the entire struggle between Luo Feng and Kafu. These ancient beings mostly had no qualification to contend for the first level of the abyss of destruction, yet they possessed certain observation-secret techniques allowing some degree of judgment. They could all discern Lord Luo Feng's approximate level. Any contact would mean fleeing. Unable to confront head-on. Marvelous. Lord Mo Man was overjoyed, no wonder they use power-breaking technique. His strength rapidly surpassed ours. He's already stronger than me. Jin remarked from the 13th level, watching Luo Feng cultivating on the 16th level. Even so, Jin disliked Luo Feng's strategy of managing the territory. Luo Feng sought to eliminate any chances for tribulation cultivators, believing that one tribulation cultivator viewing all creatures of the source world as resources to cycle through realms, monopolizing the entire source world, severing all weak hopes was unacceptable. Luo Feng, considering the countless weak, believed the hopeless severing tribulation cultivators shouldn't exist. Jin, however, greatly admired tribulation cultivators, thinking of them as the elite, forged through countless lives. He himself followed this path. With differences in Tao, they couldn't work in unity. Jin was willing to occasionally join forces with Luo Feng for the camp's overall interest, but preferred keeping his distance otherwise. Just because you're stronger doesn't mean you're right. Both Nai Jiyu and I are tribulation cultivators. Perhaps a 3rd or 4th tribulation cultivator might emerge in the future. Jin contemplated. This video will end here.